Good evening, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Syberia. I'm really vibing with this game so far, you know. I think last episode was a really fun episode. This time out, well, we know what we're going to be doing. We're going to try and get into that building, and I reckon something is going to be in the centre of this hedge maze. Now, we're supposed to be looking for the Vorarlberg archives so that we can find information about what happened to Hans Vorarlberg. We've also had a look around a creepy abandoned train station, which was probably going to come in later, and a factory which has some stuff to be doing in it, but we're not really super sure about that yet. As ever... Oh, do you know what? Doing this is going to be harder with fixed perspective. Well, that gate is locked, almost certainly. Ah, locked.
No point. It's locked.
Yeah. As ever, what I was going to say was, we're going to stick with our tried and trusted approach of always sticking to the right throughout these mazes. The fixed camera perspective is going to make that a little bit interesting, isn't it? Well, that's interesting. Well, okay, so maybe there's not much to see here for now then, because that's not a key for that. Now, I'm going to have to plumb my memory archives, because
No point.
what
It's
we
locked.
have just picked up is another Vorarlberg key. Yeah? Have we found any automata recently that require a Vorarlberg key? There's this ladder over here. Was that missing a key as the main thing to get it going? If so, we can just get up to the roof here, possibly. Ah, yes it is.
I need a key.
You need a key. You have a key. Bonk. Excellent. Tell you what, you've got to be pretty fearless to be a... No, she's not a notary. What is she? Well, she's some kind of M&A consultant, right? Oh, shoot. Is this actually just like burglary by this point? A sheet? No, just more path. Hello.
Mammoth. You draw mammoth for Momo?
Momo, it's you. You scared me.
Okay, so we can talk to Momo. Yeah, I guess we'll talk to Momo. Why does he want us
What
to
are you
draw him a
doing in here?
mammoth?
Momo want mammoth picture, like Hans picture.
Sorry, I haven't got a picture of a mammoth with me.
Take paper and pencil and draw mammoth for Momo.
You don't give up easily, do you?
Just do it, you know? It's sort of round and it's got tusks and put some hair on it and you're all good.
What's going to happen to you now that Anna is gone?
Momo big now. They want Momo live at inn. Momo don't want. Momo take care of Momo.
From what I've seen, you look pretty resourceful. Do you
Maybe
know
can
if
tell us
Anna
about
came here
Hans.
often with Hans?
Momo want mammoth picture, like Hans picture.
Okay.
There's something I'm looking for, but I don't quite know what. I need a clue, anything that might tell me where Hans is. You want to help me, don't you?
First, you draw mammoth for Momo.
And if I help you, you help me, right?
Momo know Kate is kind. Kate draw mammoth for Momo. Then Momo tell Kate's secret.
Straightforward.
You've got a secret?
First, draw mammoth for Momo.
Okay, I think it's
Momo,
pretty clear
I've
what
gotta go
Momo
now.
wants here.
But see you later, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear what Momo's after. I don't know. Can we just draw? Just draw. We've got some dishes here as well. No, that just returns us back to here. Fine. So, what have we got here? No, that's the light. Well, not much to be doing there. Oh, wait. Wait. There's a mammoth right there. It's right there. Well, that'll be straightforward. Okay, now let's explore the rest of this attic before we hand our picture over. What else do we have here? We've got a writing desk. It's a journal! But we need a key? No, we can prise that open. Okay, settle in everyone. May 14th, 1930. Yesterday, something terrible happened. I do not know who to turn to, who to talk to, so I have decided to write it down. You, dear diary, are now my confidant and sole guardian of my secret thoughts. Hans lies in the next room, teetering between life and death, and I am terrified. Oh, the injustice of life. First Mama, then Hans. Please, dear Lord, don't take my little brother away as well. May 15th, 1930. Hans made me promise to keep this a secret, but its burden is too heavy. I know I can tell you, though, dear diary. We discovered a cave in the mountains, a marvellous cavern with ancient paintings on the walls. Only prehistoric man could have painted them, because there were depictions of mammoths, which are prehistoric creatures as well, that much I know. I hate mammoths now. It's all because of them and because of that stupid prehistoric children's toy. Why, Hans? Oh, why did you try and take it? And why did I let you climb up there? It's my fault you're in a coma now. Hans, if you die, I do not know how I could ever forgive myself. Interesting. A prehistoric children's toy. So, May 16th. Hans has still not regained consciousness. Father cannot sleep and Gertrude cries all day long. Outside the heat is suffocating, but inside the house is icy cold and dismal. I still have hope though. I know my brother. I know his strength. He will pull through. He never gives in. May 17th. I cannot think of anything else but Hans. In all my waking and sleeping dreams, I see his fall over and over. I see his head hitting the rock, and his oh-so-pale face softening. I have taken refuge in the attic. It is the only place where I find any peace wrapped up in all my memories. 5 days have passed since the accident, and Hans has still not opened his eyes. To see him like this is unbearable. Please God protect him. Take my life, not his. I feel so desperate, so alone. I want to snuggle up in Father's arms, but I dare not. He is just so impassive. Oh, Hans, don't leave me here. It has happened. Hans has come back to life. He opened his eyes and uttered my name. My name. Do you realize this is the happiest day of my life? I want to take to the streets and sing, to proclaim my joy to the world. Thank you, oh God, thank you. How wonderful, how beautiful life is. Gertrude and I cannot stop breaking into uncontrollable fits of giggles. Hans even wolfed down his meal today. I knew he was tough, my little brother. Even Father smiled at me today when he said good morning. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I'm totally absorbed in Hans' recovery. I have scarcely 5 minutes to myself to return to my refuge and scribble down these words. So the gaps between the days are starting to get longer now. It is very curious whether Hans is hungry, thirsty, or if he wants something. He cannot stop saying my name. He can't bear it when I leave him, even for an instant. Gertrude thinks that I should move my bed into his room to help him sleep better. I hope Father will agree. Today was the first day that Hans was left in the house. We went for a short walk in the garden, but Hans is still very weak. The doctor said we should be patient and shouldn't rush him. It is so hard, though. I hope so much that life can return to how it once was. Hans has been out of his coma for a month now. He still doesn't say much and has difficulty moving. He sits motionless for long periods of time, his eyes wide open as though lost in thought. I have often had to call his name several times before he reacts. Then he will smile, and when he does, the moment is magic for me, and I couldn't possibly be happier. I had to talk to him. The burden was too great. I asked Hans about the accident in the cave to find out what he could remember. He could utter only one word, mammoth, and his eyes glowed so strangely when he said it that it frightened me. Big gap now to September. I go back to school today, and for the first time in my life I am dreading it. I am afraid of leaving Hans alone. Despite Gertrude's kindness and attention, I have the impression that Hans is much less nervous when I'm there. October 20th. While I was doing my homework yesterday evening, Hans crept up on me so quietly that he made me jump. He took a pencil and blank sheet of paper, and curiously he started drawing. It was the first time since his accident that he had done anything but daydream. Hans scribbles almost obsessively. It is all he will do, all day long. I feel it annoys Father. Nobody else understands, but I can see that Hans is trying to draw mammoths. November 16th. Today is my birthday, and Gertrude has made me an apple pie, my favourite. But Father has not returned home for lunch, and Hans doesn't want to leave his room. The best present I could ever have is to see Hans back on the way to recovery. On Christmas Day, snow is falling. It is so beautiful. The doctor visited to examine Hans. He seems happy that my little brother has fully recovered his faculties. It truly is a miracle. I don't understand why he doesn't talk more, though. Why isn't he livelier like he was before? It is Hans' birthday. Today he is 11 years old. I have the strangest of impressions that actually he has lost 5 years rather than gained 1 more. February 24th. The doctor has just left. I saw him whispering with Father. Their serious expressions worried me awfully. What could they be hiding from me? I am grown up now. At the age of 15, you can understand everything. I am too scared to ask Father what is happening. And fast forward to March. I have been thinking, and it seems to me that Hans' attitude isn't normal. The shock of the fall and his coma must have had much more serious effect than we first imagined. Hans, my dear brother, what is happening to you? I have discovered the truth. Hans is stunted physically and mentally. I eavesdropped a conversation between the doctor, Father, and Gertrude. Gertrude buried her tear-filled eyes in her apron, and Father muttered the word, I'm not saying that, under his breath. How could he say such a thing? It is Easter, and we're on school holidays. This means I can spend all day with Hans and protect him from Father's permanent dark moods. He cannot accept the fact that Hans, his only son, will stay in this state forever. It is truly difficult to accept, but it is not Hans' fault. Mine maybe, but not Hans's. I don't know how to make Father understand. He seems full of hatred for him. It is dreadful. I feel so powerless. 1 year. 1 year has gone by and it feels like an eternity. The situation shows no signs of improvement, neither in terms of Hans's mental health or Father's attitude towards him. Extraordinary! Father has decided to take Hans to Paris for new tests. He says that only in the French capital will he find truly competent doctors. We must make Hans ready for the great expedition. Then in June, no news from Father and Hans, but I remain hopeful. I am sure they will take good care of my little brother. In July, they have returned. Hans rushed to my arms and started crying. It took me a long time to calm him down and get him to sleep. Father is still as taciturn as he was before he left. The French doctors have confirmed the diagnosis. Hans will remain physically and mentally impaired. I am stunned. The summer is coming to a close. It has been less stifling than the last. The sun has put colour in Hans's cheeks. When I look at him, I have difficulty imagining that he will not change. Then a big gap to November. Father still says nothing and increasingly shuts himself away in his office at the factory. Gertrude tells me that love and faith triumph over any science. I lack neither, God be praised. Father took Hans to the factory this morning. Hans was so afraid that I accompanied them. Fortunately, Father said nothing. I fail to understand why he insisted on bringing him there. Father left for the factory with Hans once again this morning. I think he wants to persuade Hans that he could be useful for something. It is his way of resisting fate. For a month now, every morning, Hans has gone to work with Father at the factory. I'm not exactly sure what he does there, but he seems to enjoy it. I feel my brother's behaviour has changed considerably. He is much less capricious. Then in April, I could cry. Hans has made me a present, a small robot mammoth with a trunk that rises and falls. When Father saw it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Both Gertrude and Father now have their own robot mammoths. Theirs are even more intricate and finely tuned. Little brother is... he's found something he can do. Hans's mammoths now walk, raise their trunks and wag their tails. It's incredible. I met the head of the factory workshop, Mr. Grips, this morning. He says that for a young lad of 12, Hans is very gifted. It is a shame he only makes elephants. Father and Hans were locked in a long discussion yesterday, or should I say Hans was locked in one of Father's long monologues. As it is inconceivable that Hans should go to school like other children, Father wants to take him on as a worker at the factory. However, Hans will have to stop making his own little devices. Hans's silence, his half-gaping mouth and staring eyes finally sent Father off into a rage. I tried to broach the subject with Hans. This is now 1933, so this is now like 3 years after the accident. I tried to broach the subject with Hans. I suggested he should obey Father. Learning a craft at the factory is his one chance to do something constructive with his life. He is so gifted and takes so much pleasure in making automatons. He did look like he wasn't listening to me, but I know he'll think about what I said. It is not that Hans cannot speak, it's rather that he doesn't want to speak. He uses the least possible words for communication, except with me, but he's still very economical with words. And then fast forward to May again. Incredible! Hans was not just satisfied with learning how the assembly line works, instead he has completely redesigned it. Father and Monsieur Grips are taking a serious look at his plans. Father has wanted to talk to me about my future since I passed my exams. He wants to send me to university because he says my intelligence is astounding. My heart was beating so loud. It is true, I do love studying, but I couldn't bear to be away from Hans. What a ghastly summer. I have been permanently torn between my desire to go to university and my refusal to leave my brother. I talked about it with Hans, but he said nothing. That same evening, I found my own little mammoth broken. Hans has had another fit of hysterics at dinner again. Father announced that Hans's new assembly line would soon be finished. However, they have removed the automaton parrots that shout orders as they were deemed superfluous. Hans was livid. He hurled his soup dish to the ground and stormed off to the bedroom. What will happen between the both of them when I'm not here? Despite my scruples, I am finally leaving. Hans has not talked to me for a week. Father would not understand if I told him why I wanted to stay. My heart is so heavy. And then fast forward to Christmas, so after the Michaelmas term. It is so strange to be home. I had never left home for such a long time before. Once we were alone, Hans did not stop talking. Words just leapt from his mouth. How we laughed at his excitement. He presented me with a delightful little ballerina to replace the mammoth, he told me. I was so touched that I started crying. Distance has done nothing to harm the strong bond between us. Oh, wow. Big skip forward, 1937. So, fast forward 4 years. This is going to be the end of university now, or the final year of university. It is strange to pick up this diary once more. At first my impulse was to tear it up, but I resisted and instead succumbed to my second desire, which was to write for a while. I am alone in my attic once more. I have been home for 2 months now, and after a summer spent living with the intense joy of being reunited with my brother, Hans has returned to the factory. Father has aged so, and Gertrude's arthritis causes her terrible pain. All in all, these last 4 years have been kind to Father and Hans. Their relationship is less tense. They still do not exchange much conversation, but they now have a thing in common, the factory. I'm even beginning to feel a bit jealous. Silly, really. Hans hasn't changed. To help Gertrude, he has designed a totally automated kitchen, and Gertrude can't stop moaning at the wooden puppets. Oh, how I adore them. I went to go and see Father and Hans at work. I hadn't been to the factory for ages. It is strange how much it has changed. I was very curious to see them set about their tasks. I like Father's new office very much. Hans has a small workshop on the first floor, crammed with odds and ends, unfinished robots and designs. Exactly how I imagined, in fact. The factory is working very well. Orders for toys keep coming in, spurred on by the run-up to Christmas. When I was at university and I said my name was Vorarlberg, people would ask if I had any relation to the Valadeline family. Now I know the effect that Hans's genius has had on the factory's renown. To make myself useful, I started helping Father set his papers in order. The most extraordinary thing of all is that for the first time ever, I have the impression that the three of us form a real family. Hans never ceases to surprise me. How long is this diary? Okay, 4 more pages. We can do it. I'm like, oh, who has this much to say about anything? Like, we must be getting pretty close to Hans's death by now, to be fair. So, yeah. Hans never ceases to surprise me. Between home and the factory, his behaviour is so very different. In his workshop, he is serious, concentrated, a proper young man who keeps his eye on everything going on, constantly on the move and in control. One has the impression that each single toy is his very own infant. At home he turns back into a child once more and is either moody or a happy-go-lucky buffoon. The most wonderful Christmas of my whole life, Hans and I could not stop giggling like children beneath Father's disapproving glare. I know that he was only pretending really. Our hearts are so full of hope. Hans came to see me in my bedroom yesterday evening. I felt terribly awkward, terribly at ease. I might have guessed Hans wants to leave. Leave Valadeline. The house and the factory. He wants to go travelling. He doesn't know where or to or for how long. That's just like him. I was so shocked that I told him his plans were foolish. He left my room without a word. His head bowed. I thought that he wanted to leave because of Father. Not at all. It's because of the mammoths. He wants to go tracking mammoths. I thought he'd gotten over his obsession. I know my brother only too well. I wouldn't dream of telling him his quest is useless. It isn't worth it. He will not listen to reason. I was so selfish. The other evening I returned to talk to Hans and asked him gently if he was sure of his decision. I already know what his reply is going to be. Nothing will make him change his mind. Despite my profound sadness and despair, I must help Hans fulfill the destiny he has chosen and announce the news to Father. I fear the worst. The worst was worse than my fears. Father's anger was terrifying. He shut Hans away in his workshop at the factory and has forbidden all visits except from Gertrude, who feeds him. Well, that took a sudden and dark turn, didn't it? Father has decided that Hans should remain locked up for as long as it takes him to abandon his infantile decision. Gertrude tells me that Hans is very despondent yet highly resolute. The worry is driving me mad. As soon as Gertrude returns from the factory, I hasten to get news of my little brother. He doesn't say anything, he just fiddles with bits and pieces, she replies every day with a sigh. I have tried desperately to reason with father, but I know I'm just wasting my breath. Hans is 18 years old today, and he is all on his own for his birthday. In secret, Gertrude delivered to me a small robot from Hans. It's a robot of us as children. It works with a small cylinder punched with tiny holes. I quivered with emotion as I turned the key. The message it gave was simple. He was telling me he loved me very, very much. Gertrude gave me a different tiny cylinder for today's toy. Hans is truly incredible. He has found a means of communicating between us, alone in total secret. My days are spent eagerly awaiting Hans's message. He is now resolved to run away. He is preparing his escape like it was a game. Gertrude has returned, and she is beside herself. Hans has disappeared. Father's not even deigned to return to the workshop where he locked up his son, nor find out how he managed to escape. He just gave me a black look, as if he knew we were up to something behind his back. It is beginning to dawn on me that Hans has gone. I miss him so much. Lord, please protect my little brother and watch over him for me. With Hans gone, father now locks himself away night and day at the factory. The house is so gloomy now. This morning, I caught father in the drawing room installing a coffin on a trestle. The sight of it made my blood freeze. What on earth is he up to? My questions meet only with stormy silence and a permanent black countenance. Behind closed curtains, the drawing room with the coffin, surrounded by huge candles, has become a veritable funeral chamber. I'm just thinking. So we've been to that room, so that's fine. No, the drawing room with the coffin. Maybe. No, we've not been to that room, so that'll be in this house. This is ghastly. I have just understood what father is up to. This morning the priest came to pray before the coffin, and I finally caught on. Father is mourning for the death of Hans. Father made the priest believe that his son was dead. How could he do such a thing? In the madness occasioned by his grief, my father grows ever more cold and calculating. He contacted his old friend, Dr. Schmoll. Is Dr. Schmoll very little? Perhaps, who duly drew up a bona fide death certificate without even seeing the body. I dare not imagine what yarn he has spun. Hans' funeral will be officially held next Sunday. Father strictly forbade me to attend. This sordid masquerade makes me feel ill, but I cannot denounce the subterfuge, or else I will display my father's mental instability to the world. The shame would kill him, that much is certain. I have to get away, far, far away. No, I will not leave. I have thought long and hard. My life is here next to my father. He needs me too much now. The factory needs me because father is incapable of running it now. Besides, I can only find peace of mind among Hans's robots, and how shall I know when he has sent me new ones if I am not at home to receive them? No, I shall not leave. My destiny is to remain here and keep watch. Well, that is quite a diary. Now, what have we picked up there? That is an ink bottle. Okay, that looks like everything there. Anything else? Portrait of Shakespeare in the background, of course. Why wouldn't there be? Really nothing over there. Okay, just the attic to look in. Well, I tell you what, Momo. Here. Wait, where's my drawing?
Momo, I've got something else I want to ask you.
Momo listening.
There's something I'm looking for, but I don't quite know what. I need a clue.
Maybe I've already
Anything that
given
might
it to
tell me
him.
where Hans is.
Or it's implied
You
that
want
I've
to help me,
given it to
don't you?
him.
First, you draw mammoth for Momo.
And if I help you, you help me.
Yep.
Right?
Momo know Kate is kind. Kate draw mammoth for Momo. Then Momo tell Kate secret.
Drawing
You've
like
got a
this
secret?
one?
First draw mammoth for Momo.
Huh.
Momo, I've got a...
Right. Okay, right. So letters and reading material are separate. Okay, got it. Happy, Momo?
Thank you. Momo happy. Now follow Momo. Momo show his secret to Kate.
Is Momo and Kate the same voice actress? They sound very similar. Okay, we've got to follow. Let's go. Quick, Kate, down the ladder. Where did Momo go? Okay, here we go. Right, he's leaving the factory gates. Okay, Momo. Where are we going? Da-dun! It's so random how this background music just has a random da-dun! Just, I don't know, a couple of minutes into the piece. Okay, well there he is. Excellent, you've shimmed the gate open. I didn't realise Valadeline was going to have a river running through it. That's quite nice. I mean, I suppose it makes sense because there's a water wheel, but the water wheel's on the other side of the road, so... This is where you fight that boss in Final Fantasy X. You guys know the one I mean. The one outside Kilika. Wow, this is like a proper hike out of town.
It's a shame this boat's been left to rot. Now it's full of holes.
Uh-huh. Alright. Momo's decided to take a seat.
There you are, Momo. This is some walk you've taken me on. I've got to say, though, it sure is mighty pretty.
Momo come here often. Momo like make splash in water.
Okay, so Momo, you gonna help me?
Now we're here. What do we do?
Kate and Momo throw stones in water.
Momo, we're here because of the cave. Something to do with the cave.
Momo and Kate, friends.
Okay.
Tell me, Momo, do you really think that after all these years, Anna's brother is still alive?
Let's go and exhaust some
Anna
conversation
always say
options.
hands go away, but hands come back maybe.
Why have you brought me here?
Mammoth doll in cave. Very important for hands, Anna say.
Cave?
Okay.
What cave? Where?
Momo not liar.
All right.
Momo, I've got to go now. But see you later, maybe.
Let's go and explore. Shall we have a look over by the water first? I figure the cave is most likely just there. I don't know why I should call him a liar for like... Oh, you don't... What? Oh, you don't want to get your feet wet? Is that it, Anna? Wow. Come on. Dry your shoes off later. Right, we have a sluice that we can open. We have a sluice that we cannot open.
I've got to get a helping hand here.
Well, certainly what we have currently is not going to help there.
Momo, I've got something else I want to ask you.
Okay.
Momo listening.
Tell me, Momo, did you come here a lot with Anna?
Mm-hmm. Anna like Momo. Anna like hands. Anna on journey.
It must be fascinating to live in a village full of automatons.
Automatons made by hands. Difficult work. When Momo big, he do like hands. Momo friend of automatons.
Okay.
Momo, I've got to go now. But see you later, maybe.
So I think to get to the cave, we need to open the sluice, right? So to get to the cave, we need to lower the water. To lower the water, we need to open that sluice.
It's a shame this boat's been left to rot. Now it's full of holes.
And I think to open the sluice, we're going to need some kind of tool, which maybe we can make in the factory. So I think we go back to the factory and fiddle with some dials and switches now. And see how we can get, what we can get up to there. So, not the little train station over on the right-hand side. I think literally just the factory on the left. Shame Momo doesn't have a key to the main thing. I like how you've got these little, you know, the little birds and things mixed in with the pre-rendered backgrounds, right? Like the water having a little animation on it, whilst the backgrounds are pre-rendered. I kind of miss the heyday of pre-rendered backgrounds, to be honest. Not least the fact that a good pre-rendered background doesn't trigger my motion sickness. Lol. This is still the same day, right? So he's still closed?
We're closed. Try tomorrow.
Still closed. But yeah, fully three-dimensional environments. Overrated, I think. Overrated, right? Nah, but what we should do, because it has been like a good sort of 9 months. I did try the room 4 fairly recently, but all the swooping and rotating was too much for me. We should have a go at doing a first-person game again at some point. Like, some point fairly soon. But, yeah, maybe something like... do you know what? I literally can't even remember the name of the game. It's kind of escaped me now. I want to say Harvest Moon, but that's not it. Haven Moon? Moon Haven? I can't remember. It's on my wish list. It looks really interesting. It looks really vibey. It looks like to be a game that you can kind of take at your own speed a little bit. So maybe I'll give that a go at some point. Now, we were fiddling with this, but we weren't sure what it did. So the water wheel is turning, but nothing else in here is turning. Oh no, she's stuck. That's better. So yeah, it doesn't look like we have anything we can interact with there. Weird, look, I mean, like, there's an open drawer right there. It doesn't look like there's much to interact with there. Now this can clearly move around, yes. And we have something at the end that's going to come off the end of the conveyor belt. And there were various buttons and switches at the top of this. Now I thought we would get some clues for this, but that hasn't really materialized. Kate very sensibly not running on the catwalk. So we can look out over the thing. I believe we said there were 6 of these, right? So from the grey one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there's 6 of those.
Doesn't look like that works.
So that has a light on it.
Doesn't look like that works. Doesn't look like that works.
What does the first one do? It just changes this.
Doesn't look like that works.
So are we trying to get the right combination
Doesn't look like that
of
works.
wood?
Doesn't look like that works.
So that's 3.
Doesn't look like that works.
4.
Doesn't look like that
5,
works.
and 6.
Doesn't look like that works.
No. There's no long hold to be done here.
Doesn't look like that works.
Changing this doesn't affect this. So number 3 lit up. Fine. Let's leave number 3 on and see if anything has changed down below. The house itself still locked, of course. Oh! There's a door there! Shoot. Well, I thought that was go back down the stairs. Oh, right. We've got plenty to explore in here, then. Probably. Okay. Aha! Yes, yes. Well, we'll be able to fit the vocal cylinder in there. Oh. It's literally given us a... Oh! It's given us the music cylinder. I see. Well, we'll swap that out after we have once again enjoyed... do you know what? I actually don't recognise this one. So, if you know what this piece of music is, pop it in the comments below. Voice cylinder.
Hans, where are you hiding? We've got to go home. We're late. Very late. Anna, over there. What do you mean, over there? Please, Hans, we've got to go. It's a secret. You've got to swear. Okay. I, Anna Vorarlberg, swear to my brother Hans to never ever mention this to anyone.
It's right there. You see?
But it's dark in there.
That's
Don't
why you got the
worry, it's
lantern.
a lantern. From the factory. Girls, honestly.
You won't look so clever when Father notices you've stolen one of his lanterns. Oh, I'm all covered in mud because of you.
Look, Anna. Look.
I've seen paintings like this in a library book. They're like...
You swore, Anna. It's a secret between you and me. Hey, look. There's something else up there.
Oh, come on.
It's like a toy. I have to have it. Give me some light.
But Hans, it's much too high. Do be careful, Hans. Hans, be careful.
For weeks, my brother lay in a coma, hanging between life and death. And then one morning, he opened his eyes. But I knew he would never be the same again.
Okay.
We never did return to the cave. And to this day, I have never ever betrayed our secret.
That's for everyone who didn't read the diary, I guess. Oh, so we've now got new dialogue options. We can do cave. This has sort of popped out. Right, so that's not available anymore. Okay, interesting. Ah, we can take the top off it. So what do we have? The Hans, Anna, mechanical toy. Where would that go, do you reckon? But okay, that's good. We have a desk with some bits and pieces to look at. Just checking the drawers first. Okay. This is 2002. Dear Hans, I know how much you dislike the written word, but I do not have time to forge you a voice cylinder. I imagine that someone in your entourage will be kind enough to read these few lines to you. I received your latest set of plans. Your project is extraordinary. Your all-time masterpiece, perhaps. Time seems to have had no effect on your genius. Quite the contrary. I am proud of you, my dear little brother. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that a century has gone by since the last time I saw you. It only seems like yesterday that you rushed away from Valadeline. We undertook production immediately, following your instructions to the letter. The locomotive was ready within a week. If only you could see it. But you will see it, that much I have promised you. It is magnificent. It seems impatient to set out on its maiden voyage. There is only Oscar left to build. I hope I will finish him soon, but as you can imagine, his mechanism is complex and takes a great deal of time and handiwork. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I understood you wish me to bring you that cursed prehistoric doll, the very thought of which I wonder if it's still in the cave, and if it is, what state it is in. But what does 60 years matter after all to an object already several thousand years old? I am going to find it, Hans, I promise you. I have a bit of a nasty flu at the moment, which is running me down a little. I should be better in a few days, though. The sale of the factory is taking shape. The lawyer from New York should be visiting, and we'll be able to sign the contracts. Then I shall... The last letter of Anna Vorarlberg. And this is Hans' locomotive, which of course we have seen. So we need Oscar, who presumably is the locomotive conductor. Right? What do we have here? Madame Vorarlberg, July 10th, 2001. Recovery of outstanding payments. Madame, you will have received several warnings from my office concerning penalty charges incurred on unpaid invoices from the company Le Colombe. The total debt for which you are responsible currently stands at 47,782 francs. I strongly advise to acquit yourself of this debt by sending the necessary funds to our payment centre. In the absence of such a response on your part, I'll be obliged to undertake legal proceedings against you to recover the outstanding funds. So this is the Swiss Alps, then, is it? The Swiss Alps? Because if they're in francs, that'll be Swiss francs. Pretty sure French francs were gone by 2001. Here we go, 2000. Despite numerous follow-up letters on our part, we notice that you still owe the sum of 80,210 francs, corresponding to invoices dated January, February, and March 1998, including increments for late payment. We are asking you to resolve the situation by return of post. In case of non-payment, we will be obliged to suspend all supplies and refer the matter to the relevant legal authorities. And finally, in 2002, Dear Anna, this is from Gustav Passeri, who's a banker. Okay. I find myself under the obligation to undertake certain procedures against your company, a situation I find particularly painful given the special relationship our bank has enjoyed with your company over the years. You yourself admit that, for some time, Vorarlberg Manufacturing has become a financial liability, and due to shareholder and partner pressure, I am no longer able to underwrite your debts with the bank. I am sorry to say that we are obliged to comply with the economic imperatives of the era. It is for this reason that I beg you to accept the American investor's proposal. Such a takeover comes at a fortuitous moment, as it is the only way to swell your accounts and settle your debts. It will also enable Vorarlberg Manufacturing to stay afloat, streamline production and modernize production techniques. You will thus be able to keep the Vorarlberg name alive, one that in this day was guaranteed of quality and savoir-faire. Please believe me, Anna, when I say that I offer this advice not just as a banker, but also as an old friend who desires nothing but good for you. I know that such a decision cannot be taken easily. You can truly hold your head up high, my dear Anna, and be proud of your achievements throughout the years. My deepest apologies for bearing such unpleasant news, and I remain at your entire disposal should you need me.
Oh my gosh. Invoices, more invoices. I never knew the factory was in such a bad way financially. These last 2 years must have been very hard for Anna Vorarlberg.
Okay. Anything else in this office? It appears not. It appears not. Right. So, what are our next steps? Clearly, our ultimate goal is to finish the construction of Oscar so that we can take the train to wherever Hans is. Fine. Finishing the construction of Oscar. And we need to get the mammoth. To get the mammoth, we need to go into the cave. So clearly we need to get across the water, which I think involves opening that sluice. The water wheel in this factory is now moving, which it wasn't doing before. So I feel like somehow we are to get this factory up and running again. And that will probably help produce Oscar. So we've got some buttons and switches on this catwalk. We're not sure what to do with those. And very recently, we've picked up some ink. And we've picked up a voice cylinder, a music cylinder, and the mechanical toy. Really not sure what to do with the mechanical toy. What we really wanted was a key to the house. But we'll go exploring a little bit more for that next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Syberia. Very story heavy. Episode 3. I'm looking forward to playing episode 4. I will see you there. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Consider the subscribe button. And looking forward to chatting with you guys again. See you soon. Bye bye.